Good afternoon, explorers. Well, when I wrote the original version of this speech in February of 2020, I had no idea what the next few weeks, let alone the next year, were about to become. None of us did. We were thinking about how we were going to spend our last few weeks on campus, savoring every last moment of being a college student and preparing to say goodbye to that era of our lives. But, as we all know, we did not get to live that out. In the blink of an eye, we got plunged into a completely different world. A deadly pandemic, a racial justice reckoning, having to start careers in graduate programs virtually, and so much more. We deserve to feel the valid emotions that come with those challenges. Sadness, disbelief, anger. But I certainly don't want my entire commencement speech dwelling on the negatives, because I know today is a day of celebration, of fun, and of hope for what lies ahead. So we also deserve to feel the valid emotions that come with today, too. Relief, excitement, gratitude. But it would be disingenuous on my part to not acknowledge the struggles that we have all endured, some of us certainly enduring more than others. The events of the past year cannot be ignored. They are a part of our experience now, and we have changed because of them. In fall 2019, the bittersweet reality of what it meant to be a graduating senior hit me fast and heavy, so I coped by visiting Pinterest and searching for the ever-important graduation cap decorating idea. As I scrolled through endless pages of beautiful designs and inspiring quotes, one quote I came across really stirred something within me. It was from world-famous artist Pablo Picasso. It reads, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." Oftentimes when I try to explain to other people the incredible impacts that LaSalle has had on me, I come up short because there are just not enough words to describe such an amazing experience. But here I sat on a random October night, astonished at the way these two simple sentences could sum up my time at LaSalle. 5 years ago, I moved into St. Newman in the blazing heat of August, ready to take on my first season as a collegiate athlete and marketing major. I arrived with zero familiarity of city life and not knowing a soul on LaSalle's campus. Today, I walk off this stage as a retired since sophomore year former athlete, an accounting major turned stressed out public interest law student who considers Philadelphia her adopted home and where she found her friends for life. So to say that I changed slightly over my college years and beyond is most definitely an understatement. My mind, my spirit, and my soul have matured and grown and been changed for the better. My somewhat sheltered upbringing was shattered the moment I entered LaSalle. I met people who didn't look like me, act like me, or think like me. I took classes that challenged my preconceived notions and ingrained beliefs. I got comfortable discussing uncomfortable topics, and I began thinking about issues larger than myself and my experiences. And I think what that shows is the incredibly transformational power of a LaSalle education. A LaSalle education is so much more than a major program or degree. A LaSalle education is an engaged, dynamic process. It is boundary pushing and comfort zone eluding. It is challenging in all of the right ways. It allows you to be technically competent and ethically sound, preparing you to be a capable professional and a thoughtful citizen. When I look back over my time at LaSalle, I literally failed to comprehend the wealth of opportunities that were provided to me, the experiences I had, and the places I went. LaSalle took me from social justice conferences in Washington, D.C., to corporate visits in multiple cities of Germany. From case competitions in Boston, Tucson, and Providence, to the foot of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. And from the Habitat for Humanity construction sites of Atlanta to the Philadelphia Opera. But it also took me a mile down the road to play board games and create art with residents at the DePaul House Shelter for Unhoused Folks, the volunteer kitchen of Metropolitan Area Neighborhood Nutrition Alliance, and even a nearby prison to experience an Inside Out course alongside incarcerated men. In the end, all of these varied but equally valuable experiences have shown me that LaSalle's classroom transcends plastic chairs, white walls, and chalkboards. LaSalle's classroom is truly the community. LaSalle recognizes that the teaching of young minds with lots of potential is a holistic process that must go beyond textbooks and PowerPoints and into the real world. Oftentimes, when you go through a job interview process, one of the questions you might ask the interviewer is, "Why do you like working here?" And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get one response. It's the people. If you ask so many of us why we loved nearly every second of our LaSalle experiences, you're going to get the same answer. The people on that campus, from professors to classmates to the maintenance and cafeteria staff, are special. The second you step foot onto 20th and Alney, you are surrounded by an intangible but addicting spirit of care and concern. There are so many instances where I can think of LaSalle staff and faculty going completely above and beyond their job responsibilities just to get to know me on a deeper level and establish trusting and transformative relationships. I think of Dr. Wenzel, who literally allowed me to cry in her arms after a tragic loss and somehow trusted me to coach her Biz 100 teams twice. I think of Penny Grove becoming like my second mom at college, letting me sit in her office 15 times a week to vent. I think of Brother Michael always reminding me about the first time he met me at Honors Preview Day. I think of Dr. O'Connell and Brother Ernest helping me discover a love for justice work through our DC adventures. I think of morning jogs and grocery trips to Walmart spent talking about faith and life with Laura Cilia when she served as the adult coordinator on my service program. And the list could go on. I'm sure each and every one of us could write such an endless list of these relationships that have changed our lives for the better, all of which exemplify what being a true LaSallian is. So you may be wondering how a girl like myself, who was raised Protestant in rural central PA, who attended public school her whole life, and who was born and bred to bleed Penn State blue and white, ended up at this small, private, Catholic liberal arts university in Northwest Philadelphia. In simple terms, I ended up here because I was recruited to play on the field hockey team. But upon deeper reflection, I sincerely believe that there was some kind of divine intervention that led me to this place. As mentioned before, athletics didn't end up working out for me. Many other people in my place would have most likely transferred, but the connections that I felt to LaSalle were too strong to just give up on it. I knew that even without athletics, there were a wealth of other fulfilling and meaningful opportunities just waiting for me to give them a chance. And, unsurprisingly, I was correct. Now, I know that I have given my personal testimony about the impact that LaSalle has had on the course of my life, but I think I can speak for the entirety of the class of 2020 in saying that my kind of testimony is the norm and not the anomaly. I want to remind you of that Picasso quote that I mentioned earlier. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. I honestly believe that you could replace the word life with LaSalle in those 2 short sentences, and it would still ring true. Class of 2020, the meaning of our LaSalle education was to find our gifts. We were equipped with the right people to guide us on our journeys of finding ourselves. We were equipped with a worldly classroom and outlook to find our passions, our talents, those things that get us out of bed in the morning. And now, fellow graduates from the class of 2020, it is our job to give those gifts away, no matter what they are. We are in the beginning stages of our embarkments on vastly different paths, where our gifts will be utilized in different ways and for different purposes. But one thing I know for sure is that we are all going to have a massive impact on whatever paths we choose, because LaSalle does not produce ordinary people. LaSalle transforms people. LaSalle yields talented, thoughtful, and most importantly, tenacious graduates who are not afraid to chase their dreams. So I leave you with this. Don't get caught up worrying about what ifs and regrets, especially after the last 15 months that we have been through. Whatever you did during your time on campus was important, it mattered, and it prepared you for what is ahead. I mean, just think. You survived 2020. There is nothing that you cannot face after that. So let's always remember and stay connected to our roots here, no matter how far life takes us. Because I don't think we will ever find a place quite like this one. LaSalle has blessed us with our gifts, so let's return the favor by taking those gifts forward to bless others.